Have you ever walked past the produce section and wondered why that tiny container of berries cost $8? What if I told you that somewhere in the world, people are paying $400 for a single grape? Not a bunch, one grape. And that a watermelon recently sold for more than most people's monthly rent. The world of luxury fruit isn't just about taste. It's about obsession, perfection, and the incredible lengths humans will go to create something extraordinary from something ordinary. Today on Stellar Eureka, we're diving into 10 fruits so expensive they literally cost more per ounce than gold. From melons that receive daily spa treatments to strawberries that never touch soil, prepare to have your mind blown. Let's dig in. Let's start with some math that'll make your head spin. Gold currently trades at about $3,000 per ounce. A single grape weighs about as much as a paperclip and sells for $400. That means these grapes are literally more expensive per ounce than gold. But here's where it gets wild. These aren't ancient heirloom varieties or mystical fruits from hidden valleys. These ruby Roman grapes were accidentally created in a Japanese research lab in the 1990s. Scientists were trying to breed something completely different. Nature had other plans. Picture this: a cross between red grapes and enormous black grapes occurring naturally in a research center. It was magical, albeit accidental, and in 2020, a single bunch sold for $12,000. That's $400 per grape. But why? Rarity plays a huge role. These grapes are grown in just one location globally under armed protection. Strict regulations prevent theft or unauthorized cultivation. Each grape must contain exactly 18% sugar content to qualify for sale. They also need to meet specific weight and size criteria. It's not just about the flavor. It's about size, sweetness, and unparalleled quality. According to the fortunate few who've tasted them, they offer sweetness and juiciness beyond compare. From individual grapes to melons that receive luxury spa treatments, imagine paying someone $150 a day to give your fruit personal care. That's essentially what happens with Japan's most pampered produce that recently sold for $30,000 per pair. These Yubari King Melons receive daily massages, professional cleaning sessions, and individual climate control. Each melon is rotated by hand multiple times daily and polished to achieve that perfect web-like pattern on its skin. It's like having a personal trainer, nutritionist, and esthetician all rolled into one fruit care team. The irony? They're a hybrid of two relatively common melons, but the Japanese pursuit of perfection transformed them into edible art pieces. Nestled in Hokkaido, starting in the charming city of Yubari, these melons are the result of meticulous cultivation, a true symbol of Japanese precision. What truly sets them apart is the intricate netting that adorns their exterior. This netting is one of the reasons why these melons are so revered. At auction, a pair recently fetched just under $30,000. That's more than most people's cars, for fruit that will be eaten in about 10 minutes. What if I told you that the most expensive watermelons in the world are black, grown in volcanic soil, and were originally considered agricultural failures? These Densuke watermelons were introduced in 1981 as a desperate attempt to save failing rice farms in northern Japan. Farmers thought they'd created a disaster. These dark, almost alien-looking melons that bore no resemblance to traditional watermelons. Instead, they'd accidentally created a luxury icon. The volcanic soil of Hokkaido gives these melons their distinctive appearance and incredibly sweet taste. But it's the scarcity that drives the price. Only a few hundred are produced annually, each one hand-polished to achieve that glossy black finish. These melons, resembling engorged bowling balls, receive royal treatment. While still on the vine, they're hand-turned repeatedly to ensure even growth and prevent blemishes. Once harvested, each melon undergoes meticulous polishing, resulting in a glossy black sheen. In 2008, a 17-pound specimen sold for $6,100. Such prices aren't unusual for these rare treasures. Now you might be noticing a pattern here. We're 3 fruits in, and all 3 come from Japan. That's not a coincidence. Here's something most people don't know. The world's most expensive strawberries never touch soil. These premium strawberries are grown using elevated cultivation, suspended in air like hanging gardens. This 190-year-old Tokyo fruit company treats strawberry growing like precision engineering. Each berry is individually monitored, hand-selected for perfect symmetry, and arranged like jewelry in custom boxes. At $85 for 12 strawberries, these Sembikiya queen berries are more expensive per pound than premium caviar. The elevated growing method isn't just for show. It creates perfectly uniform color, eliminates soil contamination, and allows precise control over every aspect of the growing environment. Sold in elegant boxes of 12, every berry is hand-selected with utmost precision. Each fruit boasts uniform shape, lustrous crimson hue, and an appearance akin to a precious gem. But it's not just about appearances. These strawberries are incredibly sweet, surpassing ordinary strawberries in flavor and quality. Without soil contact, there are fewer shaded areas on the fruit, resulting in even, glossy red color. Japan has turned fruit cultivation into an art form unlike anywhere else in the world. While most countries focus on quantity and efficiency, Japan obsesses over perfection. Even if it means producing just a few dozen pieces of fruit that cost more than most people's weekly groceries. Let's take a break from Japan for a moment and head to China, where fruit artistry takes a completely different approach. In an age of Instagram and TikTok, Chinese farmer Zhenjiang Hao figured out how to make fruit go viral decades before social media existed. His Buddha-shaped pears aren't just food. They're edible sculptures that cost $9 each. Using custom molds while the fruit is still growing, Hao transforms ordinary pears into detailed Buddha figures. It's a 6-month process that requires precise timing, constant monitoring, and an artistic eye. The result? Fruit that looks too amazing to eat, but tastes better than regular pears. The inspiration springs from an age-old Chinese myth. Legend has it that a mystical tree in the shape of Buddha bore fruits of enlightenment, offering wisdom and tranquility to those who tasted them. Hao employs a meticulous molding process that turns ordinary pears into serene Buddhas. The result is nothing short of astonishing. This technique has inspired an entire industry of shaped fruit in China, from heart-shaped watermelons to star-shaped cucumbers, proving that sometimes the most expensive innovations come from pure creativity. Now we're jumping across the world to England, proving that fruit obsession isn't just an Asian phenomenon. What would you pay to taste a fruit that connects you directly to Victorian royalty? At England's Lost Gardens of Heligan, they grow pineapples using 18th century techniques that cost over $15,000 per fruit. This isn't just expensive fruit, it's living history. The gardeners use horse manure heating systems, hand pollination techniques, and 5 years of careful cultivation to recreate what Victorian aristocrats considered the ultimate luxury. Queen Elizabeth II herself received one for her 50th wedding anniversary. In Victorian times, pineapples weren't just fruit. They were symbols of great status and wealth. Having a pineapple on your dining table was a statement of discernment, style, and affluence. The Lost Gardens hold a remarkable secret: a working, manure-heated pineapple pit, possibly the only one of its kind in Britain today. It's a dying art maintained by passionate gardeners who refuse to let this slice of Victorian luxury disappear forever, no matter the cost. Back to Japan. Notice how this country keeps dominating the luxury fruit world? Here's the ultimate irony. These square watermelons cost $500 each and taste terrible. They're harvested unripe, have pale yellowish interior that isn't particularly appetizing, and are about as flavorful as decorative gourds. So why do people buy them? In Japan, fruit isn't just food. It's a gift category as important as jewelry or fine wine. Premium fruit represents respect, gratitude, and the care you're willing to invest in a relationship. Square watermelons are the ultimate fruit gift. They're conversation pieces that demonstrate you spared no expense and chose something truly unique. In Japanese business culture and social relationships, that gesture matters more than whether anyone actually eats it, even if they taste like cardboard. The story begins in 1975, when they were first successfully cultivated in Zensuji, Kagawa Prefecture, Japan. This wasn't coincidence. It involved meticulous research, experimentation, and dedication. The process is surprisingly simple. Skilled growers fashion transparent boxes for these fruits. As the melon grows, it takes the shape of the container, resulting in the iconic square form. And it's not just squares. You can find triangular and heart-shaped watermelons too. Today, square watermelons represent the ultimate triumph of form over function, proving that in the right culture, even terrible-tasting fruit can become a luxury icon. Yep, Japan again. At this point, you're probably understanding why one country dominates this entire list. The riper they get, the whiter they become. The more perfect they look, the more fragile they are. And despite lacking the red color we associate with strawberry flavor, they're often sweeter than traditional varieties. The whiter the skin, the riper and more delicious these white jewel strawberries are. The mature specimens can be as sweet or even sweeter than red counterparts. But the most remarkable difference, apart from the color, is their fragrance. White strawberries exude a gentle aroma distinct from the robust scents of fruits like pears and peaches. However, their pristine appearance comes at a price. The whiter the strawberry, the more noticeable any blemishes become. Farmers typically sell only 10% of what they produce. The less perfect strawberries get transformed into delicious jams, syrups, or ice cream. Japan's most renowned specimens hail from Saga Prefecture, from Teshima Farm in Karatsu City. These remarkable strawberries didn't appear overnight. They were the result of painstaking crossbreeding and extensive testing before debuting in 2012. A single strawberry can cost up to $10, making a standard pack of 10 fetch around $100 or more. At $21 per apple, these giants cost more per pound than premium steak. But here's the thing. These aren't just big apples. They're agricultural marvels that weigh up to 2 pounds each and require hand pollination to ensure genetic purity. Sekai-Ichi literally means best in the world in Japanese, and these apples live up to their name through sheer size and visual impact. Imagine an apple that defies the norms of size. These specimens can be enormous, weighing between 1 and 2 pounds each. That's more than 3 times the weight of an average apple. Their skin is semi-thick, chewy, and matte, with a yellow-green base almost entirely covered in rich pink to crimson blush. This vibrant red hue is determined by the amount of sunlight the apple receives during cultivation. Each tree is hand-pollinated, each apple is individually supported during growth, and the color is controlled through precise sunlight exposure. The taste is surprisingly mild and sweet, but that's not really the point. These are status symbol apples, gifts that say, "I spared no expense." Japanese culture has a concept called shokunin, the relentless pursuit of perfection in one's craft, whether it's sushi, pottery, or apparently fruit growing. The Japanese approach isn't about making money quickly. It's about achieving an impossible standard, even if it takes generations. Our final fruit actually originated in Japan, but found success in California, showing how Japanese perfectionism can influence agriculture worldwide. Imagine investing 4 years of your life waiting for a single tree to produce fruit, then charging $4 per orange. These Sumo Citrus are genetically complex hybrids of 3 different citrus fruits. They're the result of delightful crossbreeding between navel, pomelo, and mandarin oranges. Originally developed in Japan back in 1972 using traditional plant breeding techniques, these treasures didn't find their way to the public until around 2011. You see, these citrus trees take their time, years in fact, to start bearing fruit. You might wonder, why the name Sumo Citrus? When California farmers began cultivating these seedless wonders, they trademarked the name. It's not hard to see why. The name playfully nods to famed sumo wrestlers. Just like those hefty athletes, these citrus are larger in size, round in shape, and instantly recognizable by their signature top nut. According to the brand's website, these citrus gems have intense sweetness balanced by refreshing acidity and a complex, lingering mandarin orange aroma. In simpler terms, it's like an orange cranked up to 11. From $400 grapes to edible sculptures shaped like Buddha, these fruits prove that luxury isn't just about flavor, it's about craftsmanship, rarity, and the pursuit of perfection. 7 out of 10 of these came from Japan, and that's no coincidence. Japan has turned fruit cultivation into an art form where appearance, symbolism, and tradition matter just as much as taste. Which one would you actually try? The $100 white strawberries picked at peak ripeness? Or the square watermelon that looks amazing but tastes like cardboard? Let me know in the comments. And if this glimpse into the world's most extraordinary fruits surprised you, subscribe for more stories where nature, culture, and human obsession collide. This is Stellar Eureka, signing off.